Who the hell had the bright idea of brewing in the rain today? Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WorkShop Studio and Microbrewery channel. I am your host, Leo J. Bailey, and welcome to Brew Day. Not really. It isn't today anyway. It was Saturday. Turns out I've had to reshoot this particular part because, as most of you know, I love my vinyl. I always knew that I might run into this problem. It's fixable, I just won't ever do it again. Apparently I was playing some Pat Metheny vinyl in the background, and that short little segment of that song in the background caused my video to be banned. And I have been threatened by the YouTube gods. So, we won't do that again. I did listen to Pat Metheny on the vinyl all day, multiple albums. It was a tremendous fun brew day, even if it rained all damn day. Let me try to get you caught up and remember best I can what we talked about, because I had lots of updates to do at the same time. Most importantly, the brew day was an English strong bitter, heavily inspired by Mr. Wally Feck. I'll make sure there's some sort of a little banner up here to go watch that video. I believe it's Homebrew Wednesday number 285. Thank you, Wally, for the inspiration. I changed a couple things. I think mostly the only real big thing I changed, I couldn't get my hands on any copper malt. And so I changed a couple things for color. That was about it. The brew day, now that it's in the past, did not quite go as I expected, but we'll talk about that later. I don't want to ruin anything or give it away. It was a big day. I transferred the Spitfire IPA to the keg. Gave you a little bit of footage on that coming up. I transferred the Huey's Honey Kolsch to secondary. I have a little bit of information on that coming up as well. Nothing to report on the Belgian Wit. It is currently upstairs in its second week of primary. Crap, I can't remember everything else that I think I needed to talk about. Oh, yes. I tried to play with everybody. Nobody got it except for maybe Gary, but I got to go ahead and tell everybody anyhow what we are gearing up for. The reason I now have what is it? I got the bitter, the IPA, the Kolsch, and the Belgian Wit. I have 4 beers that I have ready or getting ready, attempting to, that are going to be part of a road trip. I've been kind of teasing everybody about it. I will announce that today. We are calling it the 2020 Outer Banks Road Trip Micro Session Special. I don't know officially what we're going to call it yet. Anyway, it's me, the producer, the brew crew and their families, and my family, and there's going to be 13 of us in a big old giant beach house in Duck, North Carolina. It's coming up this fall. Oh God, I don't want to say exactly when. You probably understand why. We are going to shoot 1, or at least I'm thinking 2, the way I have it mapped out, 2 micro session shows while we're there. It's a big house with a pool, hot tub. We're not quite oceanfront, but we're close. Big old house. It's going to be a tremendous amount of fun. I got a fun crew that it should be while we're there. As I said, we have some footage coming up of what the brew day was. I can update you that at the end of the day, yes, it did rain, and it rained heavy, and I'm not even going to show it to you. I still have to get it fixed. The canopy got so much water on it, it busted. I got a broken frame that I've already ordered parts for it, so it's kind of backhanded how we're shooting this, and I had to update it, but you get it. Also, I have some footage towards the end. About the time I was doing the boil, I did an upgrade or an update to my jockey box that contains my 2 3-gallon kegs. That is a little bit, it explains what I did to upgrade it and fix a couple things that I had not done right the first time. Other than that, you get to watch a little bit of info on the brews as they have been coming along. Short little bits and pieces of my brew day, nothing major to talk about. It's the standard brew in bags thing that I do. And jockey box, road trip 2020, rock and roll. It's not raining anymore. Cheers. Hello, you happy people. Welcome back. Whew! Alright. We have started a boil. We have our first edition of Galena hops. We do not add again until 5 minutes before the end of boil. Cheers, welcome back. I know I talked about this last week. This is the last, it's my first beer of the day and it's the last one I have. This is the New Realm Brewing Company Lime of the Party Gosa. Whew, boy, it's been a day. Cheers. Oh, that is a kick in the teeth. Oh, we have transferred the Spitfire to keg. You saw the numbers on that. Transferred the Huey's Honey Kolsch to secondary. Oh God, the Belgian wit is doing what it's doing. You saw everything I did with this thing. We are trucking right along. We got a 60-minute or less boil now to go with. But what I want to talk to you about while we're doing this as briefly as I can is a project I started last year. I actually used it, but it was last minute. It was all Frankenstein together, and I'll show you the details about that right now. Okay, folks, so dig this. As you can tell, just a standard little cooler. It's got the wheels on it. It's got the little hand truck attachment to it. I made a jockey box out of this thing last year, but I Frankensteined it. So I finally got around to fixing that today while I was doing saturation, and I'll just show you what I did while we're doing the boil here. So the reason I bought this one is for the size, and specifically because everything I do is 3 gallons. So I took my 3-gallon kegger and I went around to a couple different stores and had to find something that could fit 2 of these bad boys right next to each other, and I did. Perfect. So I ordered a second keg, only to find out that the newer one than this is slightly taller, which immediately I discovered the hard way. I couldn't close it. It would not let me close it. So I had to take my Dremel tool and cut this, and luckily that wasn't full of foam. I just had to cut a lot of the frame. It's just air. It kind of hurts the insulation factor a little bit, but if it's packed with ice and for as short a time these last when my friends come around, I didn't have much to worry about. So It fits 2 kegs, great. So I ordered tap handles, got the hardware for that, drilled these in, got those good and secure. Of course, I don't have handles on it now, no big deal. Got my ball lock connectors, everything of that nature, on they go, piece of cake. The beauty, what I think is the beauty of this, is what happens back here, because I found out, now as long as that's extended, it only runs me into a little bit of problem with this opening, but that's not a big deal. Once it's all full and everything goes in, it's not that big a deal. However, the biggest reason I love this thing is that I can take 2 really big hose clamps and attach this to the back, put my regulator on, and I can roll this son of a gun around wherever the hell I want. And it's beautiful, I love it. When it's full of ice, it's balanced. It's not back heavy like it would be right now, but it just takes 2 hose clamps, I zip them down, regulators on, piece of cake. With that said, what I had to do today is I had to redo my lines. And that was the only real, tricky part. Let's take that off. So when I first used it, the big problem that I discovered is, so if this is on, this goes in the bottom of my regulator, these lines go through the holes. I put my ball lock stuff on, and we're good to go. What I did not have were check valves. And when I first used this, and you would think I'd know better, I actually work in the beverage equipment industry. I wish I could tell you who I work for, but I don't think they would dig it. They are a really big company. But I work on beverage. I've worked on beverage equipment of almost all shapes and sizes for 30 years, man. I've been a certified refrigeration guy, but I got into beverage close to 30 years ago, and I've been doing it ever since. It's all related, especially your frozen drink type stuff. That's the only hint I can really give you. So the check valves I didn't have, and I discovered the hard way, as you can imagine, that when I pulled on one keg, all the other stuff backflowed into the lines. I had beer in my CO2. It was a mess, but we got through it. We just learned how to disconnect. These come from my line of work. I found these check valves on an old piece of equipment that we were getting rid of. They still work just perfectly fine. They only need about 4 psi to go forward, and it doesn't let anything go back. So there's my build. You put a regulator on it. I got 2 check valves. When this is down and strapped, these have my bowl locks on the end. Clicks in, CO2, product out, done. So there's my update. This is going on the road trip. This is going to have 3 gallons of the Huey's Honey Kolsch and 3 gallons of the English Strong Bitter. It has been a day. It's pushing noon, I think. And I have been at it since about 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm not done yet. I still got things to do. Thanks for hanging with me, people. I'll let you know the end results here at the end of this little video. And again, thank you to Mr. Wally Feck. I will even check out his channel. Go to YouTube. I will put a link to his stuff at the back end of this particular little show today. Road trip. 2020 Outer Banks road trip. It's going to be stupid. Cheers, people. Thank you for sticking around. Later. Yeah.